So now we are live with our lightning talks. So this session is a thought for people that want to present something in like 5 to 10 minutes, a short topic that you always wanted to present and share. Here's a place. So check out the link on StreamYard if you want to join. Maybe we can share it here in the comments. And we already have the first Lightning Talk speaker, a known face. So Alexander, the stage is yours.
Yeah, okay, so let me just share my screen. I've done this talk in 10 minutes on another conference. I've never done it in 5 minutes, so that's going to be interesting. So let me begin then. So Pydantic, I'm going to talk very quickly about Pydantic. It's a way to supercharge your data classes. I'm not going to talk about myself. I've already done that. So outline, I'm going to have a quick refresher on Python data classes. I'm going to talk about Pydantic. I'm going to show you some prior art. I'm going to show a minimal example of data classes, some runtime type checking, JSON tools, YAML validators, custom model validators, going to show how it integrates with the fast API frameworks, open API specifications, and other cool things you can do with that. So data classes, a quick refresher then. So data class is basically a decorator you put on top of your class, and then you can use simple type annotations to generate all the boilerplate for a class, so you don't need to have your init and similar stuff. And if we try it out, we can see that we can easily initialize the class without having a lot of boilerplate code. So it's very simple to use. Now maybe we want to constrain the toppings we offer in this data class. So in this case, our pizzeria doesn't offer pineapple toppings. So as a valid topping, hate it or love it. So basically, we're going to have an enum of strings of toppings we allow: mozzarella, tomato sauce, prosciutto, basil, and rucola. And we're going to restrict our toppings to a tuple of toppings. Basically, this should allow our class to only have the toppings we see fit. And as you can see, we can still create a pineapple pizza. So how do we restrict this? Well, this is where Pydantic comes in with their runtime type checking. It's a Python library with great documentation, data validation using Python type annotations, runtime type enforcement, user-friendly errors, no convoluted syntax. It's pure Pythonic classes with built-in deserialization, and there's been similar libraries before, but not quite as easy to use. With data classes, the types aren't enforced, but with Pydantic, they are. So we can use the exact same class, and we can use Pydantic instead. And by using the Pydantic data class decorator and changing nothing else, we will get a validation error instead when we try to use pineapple. This validation error is very useful. So let's try to create a valid pizza this time around. And as we can see, it works perfectly, just as we expect. So then what about JSON? Well, often you want to serialize your data to JSON, or maybe you want to load JSON into your data. And Pydantic can help us here. So by using the base model instead of the data class decorator, we do get some extra functionality. And as you can see, we have our pizza here. And we can now very easily JSON encode this with the JSON function. There is also built-in support for pickle and immutable copy. And we can reconstruct our object from the JSON output using the parse raw. And then we have the same object again, very useful. So what about the errors then? Well, the raised errors can also be formatted as JSON and be exposed for API. So that's very useful. And of course, the JSON schema can be exported directly from the model, which can be then used to generate clients or feed an open API spec, or Swagger as it was previously known. So here we get a schema from the pizza class, and we still only have this simple syntax I showed you in the beginning. Pydantic does use a later draft of JSON schema of the 3.1 open API spec, which is not quite finalized yet, but it soon will be. So that was the built-in validators, but what about custom ones? Well, here we can see that we have a baked pizza. We can actually check some custom business rules based on that. And we can also check the temperature. So in this case, we want the Napoli-style pizza to have a temperature between 350 and 400 degrees. Otherwise, we will raise an value error. So by using this, we can now also stop invalid pizzas where they are too cold. And if we go ahead, we can see that we get a validation error when we try to use an invalid temperature, and even a useful message telling what is wrong. So these functions or these type checkers are rather useful, but what about functions? Well, Pydantic got you covered. There's a validate arguments decorator, which is still in beta, but it's soon done, I think. And you get all the same usability and all the same runtime type checking as you did with the classes. And with Fast API, you have a micro framework very similar to Flask, but which is very tightly integrated with Pydantic and lets you generate your schema models directly from these classes. And it can be as easy as this to add an API to our pizza delivery service. And that's just the beginning. This is just a tip of this iceberg and a hint of what Pydantic can do. It can do much more, and I'm just gonna show you this slide really quickly to show or to give you a hint of some of the all awesome things that Pydantic can do, but I don't have time to go into them right now. So conclusion, pure Python syntax, better validation, very useful JSON tools for APIs, easy to migrate from data classes, lots of useful features, more things coming, very active development, working on a very cool strict mode, and you should probably try it out if you haven't. And that was my lightning talk.
Wow, what a tempo. Thank you a lot for sharing. So I hope that people that joined our lightning session find the information, go ahead and check it out. So, do you have anything more to present, Alexander?
No, this was it. But yeah, if anyone got any more questions, they can ask me, and I have like 30-minute version of this talk on my YouTube channel based on the same slides. So if you want to hear it a bit more slowly and with more details, you can go there.
Great. Thank you a lot for sharing.
No problem.
So, hear you later. So, Helium, you want to present something?
No, you bring me to the agency. I'm just sharing for people to participate.
Yeah, I thought I could maybe talk a little bit while we're waiting.
No, go ahead.
Yes, so I thought I talk a little bit about my journey. So how did I end up here? So it all began when I went to PyLady Stockholm and thought like, oh, I really should challenge myself. Now I've been programming for such a long time. I should really give a talk and talk about something. And there, when it happened, like I got in contact with more and more PyLadies. I got asked if I want to become an organizer there. And through PyLadies, I also met our dear chair, Anna, who is like the chair of PyCon Sweden, who asked me, oh, aren't you interested in a collaboration of PyCon and PyLadies? And I thought, oh, that sounds cool. And then I joined the team, and it was such a welcoming atmosphere. And I felt like, okay, besides, like, I don't know these people, but it was a lot of like responsibility. I got the chance to organize 2 panel discussions, which I haven't done before. And if you want to challenge yourself even more than a talk, hold a panel. All of a sudden, you have different people you have to take care of, listen, come up with questions, keep the audience entertained, and see that everything goes well. But what I actually want people to take away is go ahead and hold the presentation. It's such a knowledge boost for yourself, because you who is presenting need to know what you're talking about So you spend some time, you get to know something new, and then you also get a comfort level from that. Besides the knowledge part, you also get an enormous personality boost. Like all of a sudden, you have to expose yourself. You have to stand in front of people and be out there. So, I mean, okay, there are like natural speakers, they can just go and talk. But most of us, I would assume, are not like that. So it is a matter of practice. And the part that I personally like the most is building relations. So I met so many fantastic people during last PyCon, during meetups at PyLadies and other conference going on in Stockholm. And it's such a nice thing. And I really enjoy that. And I appreciate that there are organizers behind the scenes that are making sure that those events can happen. So ending with that, check out your local PyLadies, check out your local Python community. If you use another programming language, then go ahead. If there is no group, organize one yourself. What is holding you back? So it's always what you make from yourself. So with that said, thank you for listening.
Thank you, Christine, for the great talk, and we're still waiting for people to join our lightning talk. We received some questions if it was possible to change the time, which was not possible. So maybe people leaving the machine learning panel discussion could join us later. So we need to keep it here. So I invite again Christine to we do some talk.
Yes, more talking.
Yeah. What did you prefer for the talks during this conference? The recorded ones or the live ones?
I think most of the talks that I've seen were live. So that gives a very certain atmosphere, like, the person on the other end is just there now. And it feels more in the moment, even though we have a delay on our platform. But besides that, I like live presentations. It has an effect of spontaneity. And I mean, today is Friday the 13th, so who knows what can go wrong. Which one did you like?
I would say I like it both. I was creating the workshop track, so it's a lot of people doing live code. So I see most of the people doing live code in recorded way, which if I was going to present something, that would be my kind of presentation, because doing live code in a workshop, it's so easy to make mistakes. Then you don't know exactly why it's not working at that time. For some times, then you get the pressure from the live presentation. So I think then there are was good in this sense, like you don't get surprises in things you are just presenting live to people, your code, how it's running. But like for general presentations, I think the live ones were give you more, like since you are not so close anymore, give you more sensation that to be more close to the person. The social part remains for the live ones. You see the people there and talking, and I like it.
Okay, we have Stephen in the stream. Stephen, do you want to hold a presentation?
Please, Stephen, join us.
Join us.
We just finished the machine learning panel, so I'm just looking around.
Great.
Yes. Yep. So now you're live. Now you have to hold a 5-minute presentation.
Yep. So what happened? So was there any talks before this?
Yeah. Alexander presented some good lightning talk. So if you want to present something.
Yep. Don't you want to talk a bit about Numba? NumPy. No, what was it called?
Numba.
Numba.
So why do you like Numba?
Very interesting. So Numba is very interesting because of the way that it speeds up Python. So traditionally, when you want to speed up something, you build a library in the backend, right? But the way Numba does it is that it translates it to a It works very similar to a compiler. It translates it to a intermediate representation in LLVM. And then from that, you get to do a lot of optimizations. For example, you can optimize to a specific architecture and so on. You can even, for example, compile for GPU, so there's a different architecture. And I see that some of them even made some backends for FPGAs. So it's a very interesting area and also very active research going on in compiler technology as well as performance computing.
That's
so,
interesting.
Helio, you have some comments on. You also like Numba, right?
Yeah, that's what I would say. I don't think we have like some clear module in Python that can use the GPU. It's like you don't have this option. And
well, you can use. So, for example, yesterday we have a talk on GPU. So the speaker introduced some project from NVIDIA. So you have this cool DF, if I remember correctly. So it's like a pentaframes, but you can execute on the GPU.
Yeah,
and at the same time, you have like a cool Pi, right? So you do NumPy on the GPU.
Yeah, that I heard. The modules are introducing themselves like the possibility to use the CUDA in the, which is going to be great. But that something was missing. Could be in the core of Python to have something to enable could be the something for the Python 4.0, including some way to use the new GPU. Because like I was seeing the tech specs from the new CPU from the Apple, which is everything in the same chip. They have the CPU, GPU, and the memory all in the same chip. So it's going to be like there is constraints like you cannot increase memory like you were having your PC right now. But by other side, you don't have the struggle, the bottleneck from the CPU, GPU accessing memory anymore. It's gone. So it's going to be like a new, I think, revolution in terms of hardware. And how can we use that in Python to be like, how can we unleash this power?
Yeah, so it's an interesting topic. So speaking of the unified chip, so I see NVIDIA, they also release some infrastructure for server-side technology. So you have this hardware that specifically support machine learning applications. So it's going to be very interesting, especially now that FPGA is also catching up.
Yeah, indeed. The time of the how is the name? The coin miners is gone, where people were buying to do that. But, yeah, because that was a big trend, and people were buying a lot of GPUs to do this. But now we're seeing machine learning using a lot of the GPUs and TensorFlow, and I think GPT-3. They both have now the code to use the NVIDIA cards, at least. So yeah.
Yeah, but I do think that the offloading paradigm for example, CUDA and OpenCL can also be used in Python, right? So it's very similar to the way we do libraries nowadays. We use PyBind or use Python, we write wrapper, and then underneath we have a high performance library that matches to the architecture.
Yeah, indeed. Like, but this CUDA is quite old. Like, if you want to use in Python, you can use. You just need to create your module in C or C++ and compile and import as a module. That's. But then I say it could be direct. Like it was the same concept for before Python was. Python 2 is not multiprocessing. You just use a single process all the time. So then you need to do some cheating, like running singletons, and each one in different CPUs to use the multi CPUs. That was, and it's the same for CUDA now in Python. You're doing that. You're doing the same as in the past. So we should have that in the core, something that you just enable by a parameter or something simple. That would be great.
I think for CoolPy is actually achieving what you're mentioning. So it's actually mimicking NumPy, but everything is offloaded in the backend, and the API is very similar.
Yeah. So yeah.
So we are 10 watching. There are 10 watching. Anyone wants to do a lightning talk?
Yeah, please don't just watch, just jumping. We are just should talk here to wait someone to jump in and do some cool presentation.
Yeah.
We don't have a cool presentation. And if you didn't do, still time, you can register to get your free coffee. We are waiting for you. And okay, we have a kind of a question, which is unexpected. Do we have to use a video or we have to use a video?
No, I think you don't need to share your camera
Oh yeah, yeah.
when you enter. If that was the question. But you can share your slides, like the view that is up right now, that is shared from Hildu's computer.
And Christina just is gone. She lost maybe connection.
Yes, so now I entered the studio without my camera on, but I'm still there. So you don't need to show your face. We can just hear your voice.
Yep. It's if you use some kind of a chatting system like Microsoft Teams or Google Meet or I don't know, Zoom. I don't use that. It's the same. You can just block your video and get something like this. Stop cam, then it's just the voice saying.
So I'm back with a video stream.
Yeah. I was thinking now, talking to Steven, maybe we can propose some challenges for the next PyCon, like do some exercise and challenges, see who can make like a code that runs faster, and we accept by the GitHub code. Well, we have one person.
Now we have magic and code. I will add you to the stream.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to the
Hi.
lightning talk.
Thank you. I was thinking about what you said, Christine, about doing a thing on my theme toggler project, so I thought I might as well. I don't have the video, unfortunately, so you'll have to use some kind of imagination. But basically, I've been building a theme toggler because I had to use Windows for various reasons, and I thought it was such a hassle to switch between dark mode and light mode as I went outside to sit on the balcony and work. So I went into the WinRig module, or rather learned about it, and built something that works for now. So as I said, I don't have the video, unfortunately, but as you can see, it's a console application. This is like one of the older iterations I've been working on it since, but basically what it does is that you toggle between dark and light mode, but you kind of have to register the applications that you want to toggle. Because, for instance, I'm only using here the VS Code and the Windows terminal. So basically I had to dig into those applications to see how are they like dealing with their themes. So there's a specific function for dealing, or method, I don't remember now, for dealing with VS Code, and there's another for dealing with the Windows terminal. And then finally in Windows, I've actually been able to also switch to system mode for both system and apps, which it turns out are different things. So now I'm able to, by a command, or currently it's just a Python script, but I'm able to switch between dark mode and light mode for several apps at one time, which is very convenient. And yeah, as I said, I don't have the video, but you can kind of get the gist of it. So that's basically what I wanted to say. I invite people to check it out and try it out and make suggestions. It's like my first utility script, so, and it's only really meant for my use, but I thought, what the heck? If someone wants to try it, you feel free to do so.
Do you have anywhere any link or resource where we can have a look at it?
Am I not sharing my screen?
No, I think you have to add it.
Oh, that was interesting. Okay, I'm so sorry. I feel like a moron. Okay. Oh, of course.
It becomes much clearer when people see the screen.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, here it is.
Yes, okay, yes. So basically I was showing my GitHub repo. Yes, and this is what I was describing. Okay, now I see that could be a bit confusing. Yes, so, and I've only, since I didn't have the video, I've only just like cut it in two. So basically here's the dark half of the theme. So we have VS Code, the Windows terminal, and the Windows system taskbar. And here's the light mode for the same applications, not Windows terminal, but it works basically. So yes, thank you, Christine, for pointing that out. I see that could help. So
yes, thank you a lot for sharing.
Thank you. Okay, I'll stop. Bye.
Bye, thank you. So Helio, I'm bringing you back on.
Yeah. Let's keep waiting for more people. We just have 30 minutes more, which is easy.
Yes. So here, if you want to join the lightning talks, now you see how smooth that works. Just go to the link and then we can add you to the stream.
Yeah, so for the next conference, if it's going to be online, then definitely we need to change the format for the lightning talks. It didn't work.
Yeah, we're always open for ideas and suggestions. So if you have any, write us info@pycon.se. Se. I should know that better.
We are going to have a survey, so you can fill up the survey and say, to do better lightning talks. So one complaint was we having the lightning talk at the same time of the other talks. So yeah, we still on machine learning. It's over. So we have something on the distributed data pipelines in Python and teaching Python to students. So yeah.
Yes, but maybe it's also less scary if you know that not everybody is now listening to the lightning talks. If you want to give your first presentation, then it's maybe good to know, oh, some of the people are somewhere else. So good to have a low entry level. Oh, Lucas says thank you. Yeah, thank you too. Don't you want to present something?
Thank you, Lucas.
Yeah, that's always my running joke at PyLadies, that I try to challenge everybody to give a presentation. Yeah. It's not that successful, but with some people it works.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, Magic and Code, you're back. Hi, I saw a comment in the comments as well. Alexander said he thought the windows looked much bigger than he was used to, and I thought about the other talk I had with PyLadies. I thought I could just do a very short version of that. Basically, now I'm going to share my screen.
Yes, share directly, and we remove ourselves.
Yeah, no. Does that work? So yes, so I've been I'm having a series on the Unwilling User's Guide to Windows, because I very much was a very unwilling Windows user after having used macOS for many years at the moment. But so I did a presentation for PyLadies where I talked about what I think are the most important features for creating your, I'm very sorry about that, a acceptable Windows experience, and in this talk, an acceptable Windows appearance. So I can just mention quickly that I have a downloaded checklist as a PDF on my website. You can see here. I hope this time, yes. And so basically, the first thing you have to do is reduce the app and text size, because everything is huge on Windows. And you want to change the desktop background. And basically, my strategy is to take something that definitely do not remind you of Windows, which in this case is the Ubuntu 16.10 background, which I like a lot. And then there's a trick for actually getting rid of the bin icon. And also, if you can, prefer dark mode, because it looks much sleeker, neater, and also change the accent color from the default, which is called default blue. The default lock screen is very, very cluttered. So you can do a lot in the settings to kind of just tone it down a bit and silence app notifications, etc. And the taskbar, I moved to the top because I'm used to have my Apple icon up there. And you can use small buttons to make it more neat. I mean, again, these are my preferences, so you can, of course, do what you want. But I just, with this talk, I wanted to, help for PyLadies, I wanted to kind of show the possibilities, because I was of the impression that you can't really do much with Windows, which turns out not to be the case, happily so. And also remove redundant icons and buttons. And I had a whole section how to add the show desktop button, which has been my favorite Windows feature ever since I used Windows 7 or similar. But now it's gone. Then I found out how you can actually add it back. And then finally, I recommend the screensaver Fleeklow, which is also available for macOS. So if you did like the look of Windows in my previous talk, I recommend that you just take a look at the checklist, and I will be adding a kind of article series to get more into the steps of how you can achieve an acceptable appearance in Windows. That was...
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That does. I really like it when you had the talk at PyLadies, and I very quickly after that also tried that with my computer, because my personal computer is on Ubuntu, my work computer is Mac, and then I have another one that is Windows, and it's horrible to jump between operating systems. So it helps a little bit if they at least look similar to find things again.
Yes, indeed. So, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So here we are, waiting for people to join and do the talk.
Yes, if you want to give a talk, now is a chance.
Maybe I can show something. Stop this screen, then share. This is the code to send the coffee. That's horrible. It's possible to see.
That's a bit small.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get much bigger. So what I wrote is more like a tiny script, which we receive a CSV file, where I just get from the options the user for the email, the password for email, the file from the Eventbrite where you registered. Then you have the CSV codes for the promo that I received from the company. And I just verify if they are empty. I just get to some error and don't even run. Otherwise, I just return. Could be better if it was a class instead of a code like this, but that's fine. For the purpose I just wrote that yesterday from 6 to 7. Then I verify if the files are valid, because I was just using the file and say, okay, what if they are not good code? They are not valid files. So what I do is just a tiny verification. I just come here to get the file. I do from absolute path to be sure it's not it's not relative, it's not broken. Then if it doesn't exist, I just erase an error directly. I don't even run the file, just fail. Otherwise, I return the file name back. And as you can notice from the syntax I have some camel style, snake style, sorry, which is typical from Python, and some camel style here. I'm using the camel style because I'm in my work we are using a lot of Golang, and Golang supports this kind of a language. Otherwise, you get a lot of complaints from the compiler and the link especially. So then I found it's a nice way to use, better than use underscore to get the snake format. So after I get the files back, I just read from to build some dictionary where I have like the email is the key. So that's why if you get several entries to register, which is possible, you just get one code, because I used the email as key. That was not intentional. I just wrote first, then I looked and said, that's going to do the trick. Then I get your full name here to just compose the email, then I return. What's missing is to read the CSV codes, which is one code per line, is one URL. I just do very simple read and attach to the dictionary as a link parameter. Then I also have all done. It's just a matter to send the email. The email is quite simple. We use Google. So we establish a connection to Google. Oh, it's hard coded. I have it here. Yeah, even the port I forgot to change. Then we get the mail from and password, which is the user we get from the GitHub here. That's the mail service username, mail service password. Then we just know we have the structure coming here on the destinations. Then we know email is the key. Then we get the full name. Then you get the link. Then we just send from us, carbon copy to us, and the same. This is just composing, because this doesn't do anything. It's just to know what to do is when you send the email. I show later. Then we compose using the F strings, which Alexander showed before. Great feature, make your code readable. So from us, carbon copy us to your email, your core reading code, and that's the link. Thank you, PyCon Sweden 2020. Then we just send from, and here's where you get the carbon copy. And I had some problems in the message string, complain about some accents. Actually, it was Alexander in the name, the first one that was complaining. And then I found we need to use this encode to enforce to be UTF-8. I thought this kind of thing was solved with Python 3 when we had these on Python 2, but it seems they still doing that. So yeah, that was my short presentation about the tool to send the coffee registration for you. If you didn't do that, you still have a time for it, so do it as fast as possible. Now let me share the screen. Lightning Talks, share. And bring Christina back.
I'm back. Thank you, Helio. I love the way that you use Python during PyCon to solve very practical issues. I remember last year with the linears, you were also using a Python script to generate them.
Yeah.
So
I was a system administrator for quite some time. Then my first programming language was Perl. Then I started Python not in 2000, it was in 1999. I started using Python. And I think I started on Python 1.5. And the majority of work I did with Python was to have the system administration stuff in place. So for things I do for my work, when I use Python, I use the classes. But for simple stuff like I do right now, I just do in functions mode, which is simple, but you need to pass arguments back and forth and receive. And yeah, it does do the work. It works.
yes, that's a pragmatic approach. And I also like with Python that you can write code so quickly without much syntax hiccups.
Yeah, that's I think one of the great things from Python that was copied for Java has it is you can open the shell, then you can just go type in and see the result, and it's not working. Then you just go and maybe I can show some tricks in Python since nobody's showing anything. Let me.
Yes, just a reminder, if you want to show anything, follow the string, Skadad. There's a link, it's at the beginning of the chat on YouTube if you want to join and get your space in our lightning talks.
Let me just open a shell. I don't want you to see my old shell, so console. So Python has some great features, which share screen. I learned some of them from João. He was presenting a talk today. I could not watch it, but like you go on the live mode in the Python, then you go like let's say import OS. Then you just do like p equal o path absolute path. No, I don't remember, right? Yeah, that's correct. I was going to show is you don't remember, right? Here it's going to work, but you don't remember. You can come here and do GO's path. Then you can see all the possibilities you can get. You can just list them as keys because that's a dictionary. Oh. Print P for P. That's bad. It was better in Python 2.3. For P here post path P. So you have the list of things you have in Python to use. So you don't remember if it was absolutely what, then you can take a look quickly. So I got a P here. P is a kind of a C. So I can just, what can I do with a P? Then it shows the same. You can go for lower because it's a string type, upper, join, split. So it's just a tiny trick you have in Python. If you don't know what you're doing, you're trying like a JSON stuff, then you want to know what can I do with some JSON page. It's very simple. Just do manually the request, then you get the results. Then you can do like this and go doing that. You have like this variable as well, which refers to the last used the command. So what you did, you can read like from this underscore. It's a nice trick. Yeah, I think that's it for just a tiny, quickly dirty tricks on Python. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. You see, everyone can do a spontaneous lightning talk. It's as easy as that.
Yeah.
No, it is very useful hacks, what to do and how to look things up. I really like that.
Let me share again for people to join. Yeah, this command, like when you are reading the library and you're a bit lost about what the library is doing, that's the best way. Just go and hear on the what are the functions you get. That's the zing of a Python. You can get everything is Pythonic itself, so you can get Pythonic responses all the time. But I think that's
all right.
You can close it, right? Because it's been like 10 minutes earlier, but I don't think anybody else is going to join.
Yeah, I think everybody that wanted to talk had the chance to join us. So let's close it here and have a look at the closing remarks at 5:30.
Thank everybody for watching us, and I hope next year we can make, if not face-to-face, some good remote lightning talks. And maybe next time we're going to ask you to record the video. That's going to be great. Before we finish, we got the 2 comments. Okay, yeah. From Magic and Code, help is also very detailed. I love doc strings, yes. And from Alexander, thank you, Alexander.
Thank you.
Next time I showcase some be Python godness. What's inspired by Healy? Yeah, see, I was showing off and then inspired even Alexander.
No ideas, just spark.
He made my day. I could inspire Alexander. That was all I wanted. Thank you, Alexander. Love it. Okay, then that's it. Thank everybody. We're closing here. Bye.
Hej då.